Hi, I'm Laura Fees, and I'm a junior at the University of Denver. I grew up here at CCPC through the youth group, and I just wanted to share what God's been doing in my life over the past few years. So growing up in the church, I came to youth group almost every week, but church really wasn't my priority. I came because of the friends that I had here, and really because of the leaders, Chris and Liz especially, who just built into me, even though throughout high school, church wasn't where I wanted to be, but soccer was, and soccer became my identity. I didn't have a personal relationship with Christ. I didn't know what that meant, and I really just poured my heart into soccer. I went out to school my freshman year at Azusa Pacific University in Southern California, and my purpose there was to play soccer and to do it to the best I could. I had, once again, no interest in God and the church, and quickly my life just kind of started going downhill. I had a great freshman season soccer-wise, but beyond that, in my personal life with my relationships, things were just not going well. So the next year, my sophomore year, I headed back to school, but I was injured, and so I wasn't playing. And I fell into just caring so much about my physical appearance and just influences from my team that just were not healthy. Because I wasn't playing, I stopped eating. I became extremely depressed, and just life, I had no purpose. Soccer was my purpose, and it was no longer there. I remember in October of that fall, I met with my coach one Wednesday night, and I broke down, and I told him everything that was going on. Up until this point, I had just been super shut off, and so he had no idea. He told me, "Laura, you need to go to the counseling office. I'm concerned for your life." So the next week, I was in the counseling office, and I told the counselor everything that was going on, and she was like, "Laura, I need to call your parents." And that was the hardest morning, I think, of my life, because they were calling my parents to tell them the truth about me, and I had constructed this Laura of just so many lies since I could remember. I had been living this lie for 19 years of my life, and finally, my parents had to know, and I had to face that reality and just realize, I'm not okay. I can't just keep living this way, and I'm going to die. When I came home for winter break after the fall of my sophomore year, most of my time was just spent in counseling appointments, seeing the nutritionist, going to different doctor's appointments, and really focusing on healing physically, just trying to get my feet back under me. And then in March of last year, I was seeing my counselor just on another Monday, and she was asking me how I was doing, and I told her honestly, physically I was so much better, I was so healthy, but mentally I was just so trapped in my head. I kept thinking thoughts that I didn't want to think, and I told her it felt like my mind was possessed, and there was really no other way to describe it. It was absolutely terrifying to me. And she was like, "Laura, can I pray for you?" And I told her at this point, she knew I wanted nothing to do with God still, and I was like, "Well, Kelly, you can pray for me, but I'm not going to pray." She's like, "Laura, I'm just going to open it up for you to pray." And I was just like, "Don't do that." And, so we just sat there in silence for a good 30 seconds, and I just started sobbing out of nowhere. And I physically just couldn't speak. I didn't know what was wrong. I was like, "Kelly, I can't talk. It feels like somebody's just pushing on my throat." It was really strange. And she just started praying over me again, and so I'm sobbing, and all of a sudden I was just "I need help." I was like, "Jesus, I need help." And I blurted it out, and she just held me, and that was the extent of it. And for the first time, I saw myself in desperate need of God and of His saving grace. And this picture came into my mind of me just laying on a floor, just naked and helpless and dirty, and it was so comforting, which sounds really strange, but comforting because it was the honest truth. And for the first time, I was just like, that's me. Like, that is why I need to be saved. I guess the best way to really embody this is a verse that someone shared with me from Colossians 1:13 through 14, which says, "For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins." And this was just such a picture of what I really experienced, and of how God just absolutely pursued me and brought me into his kingdom and out of this living hell that I was facing. And honestly, it hasn't been perfect since then, not even close. Like, life is still such a struggle, and it is a journey. But I'm just so thankful for the ways that God has worked in my life and the people that he has surrounded me with to love me and enabled me to love other people.